There are two psychological traits that strongly predict how well you'll do in life. Together, they form these four quadrants, and your likelihood of success depends on which quadrant you fall into. For example, people in the top right quadrant are almost guaranteed to succeed, and many of them do so early in life because they possess both traits. Those in the bottom right quadrant usually achieve success later in life once they're more mature, because they're missing one of the traits. Then there's the top left quadrant. These are people who seem like they should succeed. They're smart and capable, but they often don't accomplish much in life. And if you're in the bottom left quadrant, I'd recommend seeking help because you lack both traits, which makes life very challenging. The two traits are intelligence and conscientiousness. Conscientiousness refers to being organized, hardworking, and disciplined. It's about being the kind of person who follows through on commitments, uses a planner, has routines, and stays consistent. Intelligence, on the other hand, is a trait that few people truly understand. Intelligence is essentially the ability to predict the future. For instance, in chess, an intelligent player can mentally see several moves ahead, 4, 5, or 6 moves. A genius might see 7 or 8. In contrast, someone less intelligent can only see 1 or 2 moves ahead. Intelligent people can imagine outcomes. If I do this, then that will happen. If that happens, then I'll do this. They can make brilliant plans. And if you're disciplined and organized, you can execute those brilliant plans. That's really all you need to succeed: a good plan and the ability to follow through. This is why intelligence and conscientiousness are the best predictors of success. Intelligence is the ability to plan, and conscientiousness is the ability to execute those plans. Now, let's look at each quadrant. People in the top left quadrant are highly intelligent but lack organization and discipline. These people frustrate me. They remind me of the hare in the fable. They have everything it takes to win at life but fail because of their own negligence. These are the types who come up with great ideas, plan endlessly, and talk about all the things they're going to do, but in the end, either do nothing or quit halfway through. Their problem isn't a lack of good ideas. They're smart and full of ideas. The issue is that they don't know how to commit. If you're in this quadrant, I'd recommend learning to use a planner and focusing on building habits. With discipline, you could move to the right quadrant, which is where the real movers and shakers are. But we'll talk about them in a bit. Now, let's talk about the turtles. If you're in the bottom right quadrant, you're disciplined and consistent, but not particularly intelligent. I like turtles. They're hardworking, organized people who may take longer to reach their goals. They might not achieve success as quickly, but they usually get there in the end. Even without the best ideas, through trial, error, and persistence, they eventually achieve what they want. A round of applause for the turtles who, despite not being especially intelligent, still find success. A turtle can speed up their journey by surrounding themselves with experienced people who can help with planning, as they're excellent at execution. Now, the top right quadrant is home to people who are not only intelligent and full of good ideas, but also humble enough to stay organized, use a planner, and focus on their habits. They don't just create great plans, they execute them. And when you execute a good plan well, you achieve your goals. Whether it's following a diet, sticking to a study schedule, or launching a business idea, these people succeed because they can trust themselves to follow through on what they say they'll do. They're masters of habits. Finally, let's look at the bottom left quadrant. The bottom left would be the sloth, neither smart nor disciplined. If you're in this quadrant, I'd recommend finding a job with a boss who genuinely cares about you. Why? Because a smart boss can make plans for you and act in your best interest. That helps address the lack of intelligence. Plus, a job provides structure. Working Monday to Friday at set hours forces you to sleep at a decent time, wake up on schedule, and gives your day some order. That can help mitigate the lack of discipline. The hare can become a fox, and the sloth can become a turtle, eventually finding success if they focus on building habits and developing discipline. This book, Atomic Habits, is the best guide out there if you want to develop good habits. It shows how focusing on just a few key habits can transform your life in no time. It's not a cheap book, but you can download it